Awesome. All right, so there's going to be a bunch of curled files that we'll need to get from time to time, so just be prepared. I will be linking them in the chat. Hopefully, if you're following along, you can just copy and paste from here. It's how we will go into Vim and do the same thing together. As I've said it before, we're going to start when Adam met Eve. We're going from like the very, very, very beginning, and we're going to slowly build a foundation that makes sense. We're going to edit the files together. We're going to walk through them together, and we're going to hopefully get to the end. And as I've said earlier, motions were my chief most important when I learned how to do it because I was using a plugin inside of IntelliJ. Today, those will be kind of the same level of importance as other features of Vim, such as file navigation, being able to do certain sets of actions, macros, registers, quick fix lists, you name it. We're going to kind of go through the whole gambit here today. So let's open Vim. Go to your terminal and just type in VIM and hit enter. All right, so now, what are you supposed to do? For a lot of people, the first time you open this, you're just like, well, that's fun. Lots of WTFs, lots of, well, that's fun, but I have no idea what I'm actually doing here. Like, I don't even know how to use this. I don't even know how to do anything. It's telling me to type all these things to be able to go find stuff, and I'm like, okay, check health. Like, can I do push-ups? Oh my goodness, I have all these like warnings and stuff. Oh my goodness, errors. And it just feels like I don't even know what I'm doing. Now everything's gone all of a sudden. It just feels weird, right? Like, this is why when people open up Vim for the first time, they generate SHA-256 codes. It's because you just start jamming the keyboard until something happens. So let's quit. By the way, I didn't show you how to quit. Press, okay, hey, chat, hey. Don't tell anyone, okay? This is kind of a secret. Don't tell anyone. It's going to be this, :Q. Hit enter. When you do that, you will leave Vim. If that doesn't work for you, try the bathtub. Just get it out, right? This is such a meme. I can't even believe it's such a meme, but every single day you'll see someone not being able to exit Vim, and it's like hilarious. There was recently a guy with a MacBook Pro with the touch bar, and his escape key quit working, and then he was like permanently stuck in Vim, and he had no idea what to do. And this was just a couple weeks ago. It was fantastic. He wasn't technically stuck in Vim. He just didn't know how to escape. Anyways, so if we could get a quick crowd participation moment. I know everyone just left, but I can always jump over to the chat. What were you expecting to see when you opened up Vim? Does anyone have anything? Anyone from the Zoom class? What were you expecting to see when you typed in VIM?
An empty document.
An empty document? Okay. I bet a lot of people wanted to see a file tree, right? Was it weird not seeing that? Like when you open up VS Code, you see a file tree. You feel a little bit safer. You see something on the side that kind of orients you to where you're at. You got nothing, right? And it felt confusing. Someone said an empty screen from chat. Line numbers. Yeah, maybe line numbers, maybe something, just anything. But it feels super disorienting when you see nothing you're familiar with. That's going to be a pretty regular occurrence for a while, okay? We'll try to make it better, but in the end, it's going to be pretty regular. All right, so let's move on. Let's actually use Vim this time, all right? I hope everyone's ready. So remember, we're going to do the basic movements and all that here in a little bit, but I'm going to just kind of walk you through just doing your first edits. So let's all open up Vim together and do vim test.js. Be in an empty directory. It doesn't really matter. Just don't be in a directory that has a test.js or a test any language you like, right? I'm just going to use JS because I assume most people have a vague familiarity with JavaScript at this point. So when I hit enter, I'll be presented a different screen. Now notice that there is at least a Q this time. Down here in the bottom, you do see test.js. Okay, at least we feel a little bit more oriented, but I see no line numbers. I see nothing else. It feels confusing. So let's just write a for loop together. So I'm going to start typing FOR. Okay, why is that not working? We all just typed FOR, but now everything's confusing. Okay, open squirrely brace. Oh my goodness, nothing's working. What's happening? That's because you are in the wrong mode. So when I type in FOR, you'll notice that nothing happens, right? Okay, we got something. Yay. What just happened there? Well, here, let me exit for a quick second. You need to go into insert mode. So everyone, press I. Now when you press I, what you'll see down here is insert mode. This is letting you know where you're at. So now you know you're in test.js and you're in insert mode. Insert mode will, for the most part, act just like anything else. And by the way, I do use Dvorak, if you can't tell. There's no ASDFs right here. It's all AOEUs. And so that might be a little bit different. So if you see me typing something weird, that's probably what's happening. So when you're in insert mode, you can freely type. One thing that won't work, so if I start typing, there's not usually that many semicolons, I don't think. When I'm doing this and I press enter, it will obviously give me a big indent. Now that's a tab. You don't want a tab. As you were typing it, you probably got a tab. I don't know if you want an 8-space tab. If you do, I'm power to you, but I don't use that. I like 4 spaces. This feels odd. The coloring's all wrong. But hey, at least it auto-indented for me, right? So what happens if I use Shift key and like move around with my arrows? It's not, okay. I don't, oh man, that feels funny, right? Like you can't highlight text. So what is this insert mode? It just feels wrong, right? So let's jump back here and let's first talk a little bit about modes, honestly, for a second. So normal mode is where you edit text. You modify it with delete and yanking and pasting and putting it all over the place. Insert mode is where you type new text. So those are 2 different ones. And then there's another mode called visual mode. There actually should be another mode here, but for whatever reason, my GitHub pages did not update. I'll just mention it, so there probably is a couple missing items here. But there's visual mode. Visual mode is equivalent to you using your mouse and highlighting a section of text, or using Control and Shift and the arrow keys to highlight the text. And then you're able to yank it, delete it, or perform operations on top of that highlighted region. So it's a lot like using your mouse. And so there's one more mode called command mode. When you're in normal mode and you press colon, you can execute a command. That's called command mode. We'll use that from time to time. But those are your basic modes. There's some other ones. Just don't worry about it. If you get into a goofy mode and you don't really know what's happening, press escape. If that doesn't work, start doing :Q until you're out of Vim and then just jump right back in. You'll learn how to get out of things a little bit better as time goes on. So there we go. We're in insert mode. So how do you get out of insert mode? You can press escape. Escape will make your cursor go from that thin cursor if you're using NeoVim. If you're using regular Vim, I believe you'll have a thick cursor. You'll now notice that down here at the bottom, there's no more insert, right? That went away. You're now back into normal mode. This may not feel normal, but trust me, it's very normal. It's just really normal. Just accept it. So anyways, so now there's other ways you can actually get out of insert mode. You can use Control-C. You'll see me using that a bunch. Control-C does have a small implication in a very specific use case that doesn't make it the same as escape, but we're not going to probably even run into that today. There is also Control open bracket, which will also leave insert mode. But for the most part, either use escape, Control-C, Control open bracket, whichever one you want for today, whatever one feels the most comfortable, because we can change it and we'll be able to change it to the way you want it to be here soon, just not at this moment.